Hey everyone, so we have some more notes, and it's not necessarily new, but we're going to look at the distributive property a bit different this week. So I just called this the distributive property continued. Again, this is notes. Kind of the way we were doing the distributive property last week with the box method, I would say that's more of an intro version of the distributive property. And this is how the distributive property is defined in algebra. Okay, I know this is in algebra, but we do get into it. Okay. So anyway, whenever you have something being multiplied on the outside, and then there's more than one either number or letter variables on the inside, what you got to do is distribute that to everything on the inside of the parentheses. Okay. So technically you got to go A times B, and then there's my A times B, and then you would distribute and multiply A times C, and here's A times C. And that's really why they call it the distributive property, because this A gets distributed to everything inside the parentheses. Okay, and this is actually the way I'm going to show you the examples today. The only thing I do need you guys to remember the multiplication properties, really of integers. If you're multiplying the same sign, the answer is positive. Like a positive times a positive is positive, we know that. And a negative times a negative is positive. Hopefully remember that. And then if it's a different sign, like if you're multiplying two different signs, a positive times a negative, then your answer is a negative. It's a negative product. Okay, and then same thing here, a negative times a positive is negative. So copy that down, just kind of a reminder. Hopefully everybody remembers that. And then we'll get into the examples. So here's, let me lower this enough till we can see the examples. So here's 5 examples we're going to do together. Okay. So remember, I said if it's just a number stuck to parentheses, that's multiply. Sometimes the examples include a dot in between. That also means multiply. And on this worksheet, you're also going to see a number separated by parentheses. That also means multiply. So copy these 5 examples down. Pause it if you need to pause it. I'm going to move on. Now remember, when we did these last week, or the first time I introduced them to you, we used the box method. Watch. I'm just gonna do this as a reminder, but I'm gonna show you, hopefully, that it's not too different than what we're gonna do this week. Remember, the 2 plus m would go across the top here, and then the 5 would go on the left-hand side, and then you would just multiply 5 times 2, and then 5 times m. And then when we would write our answer, it would just be 10 plus 5m in order, right? It's always in order from left to right. Okay, so watch how I'm going to do it today. Today, same thing today. But instead of using the box, I'm just going to use these little arrows. 5 times 2, that's 10. I'm going to put my plus, and then 5 times m. 5 times m, well, that's just 5m. See, oh, sorry about that. Same answer, but less work. We don't need to write all this in anymore. Hopefully we don't. If you still want to use this, you can, but I think using it just takes up a lot of time. But it definitely works. 2 times negative 2f. Here when you do this multiplication, all you got to do is multiply the numbers in front, so that's negative 4, and then you bring down the f, and then 2 times 6 is 12, so then I know my answer here is negative 4f plus, because there's the plus in between, 12, right? So then if you look at this one, so I'm just going to use my algebra method basically. So it's 2. Take the outside number and multiply it to this. So 2 times negative 2 was negative 4. This one does have a letter. And then 2 times 6 is 12. And there was the plus in between. See, same answer as my box method. Only way less writing. Okay. And then I'm just going to draw in the arrows, that way you guys know what's being multiplied. 9, let's go. 9's on the outside, I'm going to multiply 9 times n. That's simple. And then I'm going to multiply 9 times 4. That's 36. And then the minus is in between it. Okay. If you want, I guess we could put down like this operation. Whatever is separating these two, we can put it down first. And then do negative 2 times 3, well that's negative 6. And there's the v there, don't forget the v. And then negative 2 times 8, well that's negative 16. Okay, and that is our answer. The only difference is when you see it written down in the books, they will want parentheses around this guy because it's plus and negative. Okay, if you didn't have the parentheses, I'd give it to you. To kind of remember that. And then the last one, let me put my minus in between because it's minus. And then do so for this one, like wherever we multiply, that's where our answers go. So like if I multiply negative 5 times the 2, well that's on the left side of the minus. So I know negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. It goes on the left side. And then negative 5 times 5, well that's on the right side of the minus, so that's negative 25. And then don't forget the letter, that's m. Now remember, Mr. Davis and I keep telling you, whenever you have minus and negative, you can just change this to a plus. So I'm going to just change this guy. And this minus and negative, let me make that a little bit bigger, that just changes to plus. And that's the only time I'll ever change anything, is whenever I have two negatives right next to each other. Otherwise, I'll leave it as is and just maybe put parentheses around it. Okay. And that's it. So all we're doing today is we're keep practicing these. And instead of using the box method, we're using algebra method. And just take the outside number and multiply it to everything on the inside. Okay. Pause this if you need to pause it. Finish copying it down.